Hi everybody, it's Julie and welcome to Hello Monday. Today in the studio I am pretty stoked because I'm making this really bold and colorful Father's Day card and it turned out exactly as I was imagining it. Yay! So to start with, I'm taking some scraps that I had in the bin on my table and I thought it would be fun to use them up and use the geometric shape dies by Hero Arts. So I die cut a whole bunch of hexagons in these different colors, and there's 3 different sizes in that set of dies. And I went ahead and took an eggshell card, and I'm just gonna start pulling the different sizes and colors of these shapes and see what looks good in my mind, to my eye, and then I'm going to start planning my layout. Now I decided to go with a landscape type format for my card, so I rotated the card, and I'm not going to glue anything down yet, but once I'm happy with the way it looks, I'm going to snap a picture with my phone. This is something that I've been doing lately because I have found that once I've got everything in place and then I remove everything so I can start gluing it down, I can't remember exactly how I had it, and then I don't end up with what I was originally envisioning. So this is one of those things that I have found to be very helpful lately. So who knows, maybe you'll start snapping pictures of your works in progress and see if it helps you too. So I'm going to go ahead and 3D mount some of the hexagons, and others are going to be flush mounted to the base card with some Glue Glider Pro. So I'm just going to use that photograph that I took, and it's going to help me map everything back out and get it all glued exactly where I wanted it. And this is going to take me a little bit of time as I'm working, but I just wanted you to see the process of how I was getting everything into place. And you'll notice that some of the hexagons are bleeding off the edge of the card. I think sometimes we get caught up in the idea that everything has to fit within the confines of the card, but it's okay to take a portion of an image and let it bleed off the edges, and that will create more visual interest on your finished project. So I'm just going to go ahead and 3D mount that last little portion of a hexagon, and then I can move on to the rest. Now for the greeting, I decided I wanted to use this really great alphabet. This is by Mama Elephant. It's called the Midnight Letters, and I absolutely love this alphabet. It's just so modern. And I took some of the letters I wanted to work with and I just stick them on another block so that I don't lose them when I'm picking and choosing what I want to work with. And then I went ahead and mounted them to little blocks to begin stamping. And then I'm going to take a piece of Lifestyle Crafts Shape and Tape, and this is just a strip I had left over from another project, and I wanted to add this for some extra pattern, and I wanted to get the angle of the strip of tape to match the hexagons that were on the card. So I'm just pulling one of those extra hexagons from that dish that I had, and I'm using it as a guideline so that I snip the angle to match the hexagon. So this was one of those, like, I tried to eyeball it at first and then I was way off, and then I was like, oh duh, grab one of those hexagons and use that. So now I can go ahead and mount this to my card. And the thing I love about the Shape and Tape, which is, it's a sheet size of washi tape, I save the little bits and pieces that I don't always use, and then I can use those scraps on further, on future projects. And I didn't quite get this mounted perfectly straight. So the great thing about Shape and Tape is that it is removable and repositionable. So you can lift it up and get it straight and then smooth it back down again, and it will work just fine. I love that stuff. I know, I use it on practically everything these days. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp Dad, and I've got individual letters. And the reason I did that instead of lining all the letters up onto a block is that I had to repeat stamp the letter D, and I wanted to use only the solid letters from that set. And there's only one solid, the other one's an outline. So if I have to repeat the letter, then it's just easier to have them individually mounted onto separate blocks than trying to line them up. And so as I'm using this washi tape guideline here to stamp a straight line with my alphabet letters, I get to the last one and I don't know what happened. I guess I just couldn't, I stood up or I sat down or something and I got my angle off and I ended up being crooked. And this really ticked me off because the card was coming along so well. So I'm like, there's got to be a way to fix this without starting all over again. So I reached into my bin and grabbed a scrap of black cardstock. There was just a little strip in there, and I cleaned off my alphabet letters and I stamped them again with the Hero Arts Unicorn White right onto that strip. And I could have embossed them, but I really just wanted to have the flat ink there like that. I really like that look. So I'm going to take another one of those hexagons from the dish and use that as a template to make sure I trim off the angle of that little banner to match the rest of the hexagons. And you'll see why here in a minute. So I'm going to heat set that really quickly so that it doesn't smear while I'm futzing around with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some 3D foam on the back of that so I can go ahead and pop it up. And I have a little waste bucket that I like to keep on my desk for catching these kinds of things, and then when it fills up I just toss it. But this is one of those habits I'm trying to get into for keeping my work surface clean while I'm working on projects, because I have a bad habit of just letting all kinds of stuff just build up and then I get frustrated because I can't find anything. And there I'm going to fold the base card and take my bone folder and crease that fold line. And that card is finished. That's all there is to it. It's a lot easier sometimes when you've got all that stuff mounted to score it or crease it from the back side. And there you go. It's all done. And I absolutely love the fact that the mistake I made led in the end to making a much more finished and attractive card. I just think it turned out even for the better. Don't you? Thanks for watching.